Hi, I'm Charlie Thorburn. Welcome to Mordor Gundogs. We're going to be doing this week, we're going to do a little part of our Labrador series. We're going to do a little bit of retrieving with this is Spoon and Spoon's brother Rum, who'd have seen in the video last week. We're going to just start off the retrieving with this little girl because she is not as far on as her brother. So I'm just going to show you how we first go about. If I throw a ball, she'll be great. I just take her off the lead. I throw the ball. She runs out after it. Huge enthusiasm. She comes back, okay? Now when she comes back, I'm just trying to encourage her to hold her head up. Okay, I'm talking to her, I want her to be calm. I want to give her a cuddle. I'm not taking the ball off her too quickly. I'm just talking to her here. Good girl. And then as I praise her, I slide my hand up and I take the ball. Okay, it's a very subtle, it's not like, give me the ball, because they're going to run the other way. It's just very subtle and very gentle. And I'll do the same thing with Rum in a minute, but I just want to give you her because she's like, woohoo, this is great. She's pretty full on, she's pretty enthusiastic. Sit. Spoon, come here. Come here. Good girl. And just to give you an idea of different personalities and different temperament, okay? So I'm using the ball to encourage her to want to like look at me and be with me. Throw the ball. And this is the stuff you want to be doing. This is what you want to be doing. She's dropped it. There we go. With a young Labrador, okay? From a few months old. Just encourage them to come out with you, throwing the ball, and encourage them to bring it back. You've seen me on some of the other videos running away backwards from them, setting myself up in situations where they can only bring it back to me. She's at the stage where naturally she just wants to pick it up and she wants to bring it back to me. She had a little skirt off to see Ian doing the camera, but as I always say to people, we're trying to do all this on our own. We're trying to do this in the back garden. We're trying to do this in a quiet bit of the woods or somewhere where we're in control and the dog can't get away and there aren't other dogs to cause trouble and get in our way, etc., etc. So we've got all these lovely paddocks and things we can do this all in. You just have to figure out where you can go. Now, if I try and do this with little Spoon and I try and throw the ball with her on the lead, she's going to go bananas. I don't want her to fight the lead, but sit, sit, sit. Out, out, go on, out. There's a little hesitation because that's the first time I've ever made her wait. And she's just running around a little bit like a headless chicken because what I've done is I've confused her. She's so used to just running out after the ball. She's so used to just running out and getting the ball that as soon as I put a bit of pressure on her, I stop her, she just got herself in a little bit of a pickle and she's making a bit of a meal out of it. And you'll see the difference between her and her brother, and the only reason is because her brother's just had some more training. We've only just started doing some work with this one, and she's a little bit silly and a little bit of a wally. So she needs a lot more work in terms of obedience before we start steadying her. Because as soon as I start trying to steady her, she's just going to make a pig's ear of it. So at the moment, we're going to concentrate with this one on healing and sitting and just being calm and relaxed before we do any more in the way of steadiness. So double-sided sticky tape, bit of Blue Peter magic, and Ian's going to click his fingers and we're going to go to Rum. And this is Rum, so he was in the last video on heel work. What we're going to do this week is we're going to do a bit on retrieving. Now, I'll do another video with dogs with retrieving problems. The problem we often have is we don't have many dogs with retrieving problems because we've kind of bred them all ourselves for many generations. That we sort of make our job easy because we breed nice dogs. It sounds a bit of a cheat, but and it's not very helpful to any of you who've got problems. But the key with retrieving is making sure from a very early age they bring it back to you. They don't bring it back to you and run around and mess around. You're going to look at your puppy and go, oh, look, he's picking up and he's running around, he's having a great time, and he's just a puppy, it doesn't matter. It does matter, okay? The more you do that, the more they are running around with a ball or with something in their mouth, and they think that's okay, they think that's the way to do it, and then you have a problem that you're compounding that problem by showing them that is what they're doing, that's what you're almost encouraging them to do, so that is in the end what they will do. Because training dogs is about creating habits. If you create the habit of a dog running round in circles with a ball or something in their mouth, then that is you training them. And you always kind of, you go, oh, well, they're just a baby, I'll sort it out. No, I'll sort it out later, why not just sort it out now? So get yourself in a situation in the corridor in your house, in a narrow pathway, somewhere where the dog can only come back to you, or put them on a long line and then reel them in like a fish. But do whatever you can to encourage them to bring it back to you first time and every time. On some of the other videos, you'll have seen us with our puppies sort of picking up a ball and lying down or running off, you know, and they're messing around. You'll be like, oh, that happens to Charlie as well. It does happen to me as well. It happens to me, but it happens once, it happens twice, maybe 3 times, and then I've put a lid on it. And then by that, very, very quickly, in that day or within a few days, I've got a dog that's consistently bringing a ball or a retrieve back to me. When it comes to what to get them retrieved, we love using a tennis ball in the early stages. It's easy, it just pops in your pocket, it pops in the dog's mouth, they hold it easily and freely. If they do chew it, it's not the end of the world. If they lose it, it's not the end of the world. But ultimately, we want them to retrieve as many different things as possible. So a plastic bottle, a tennis ball, a training dummy, a plastic training dummy, a canvas one, a one with feathers on it. But at the beginning, we stick with one thing, and we get that concept of go out, pick it up, bring it back. We get that big box ticked. And then whatever we throw out, they will pick it up and they will bring it back. Because we've done it repeatedly so many times that that's just all they know how to do. Okay? So this is Rum again. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to keep him on a lead. And I'm just going to simple retrieve down there. So I'm going to say sit. Sit. Now I've taught this dog how to sit, but I haven't necessarily taught him how to sit and stay. So I can't walk a long way away from him. But he knows how to sit and remain on his bottom for an extended period of time. If I haven't got a dog doing that, then I'm not ready to do what I'm talking about next. So if you can't stand with your dog sitting down for a good few minutes, talking to someone, talking on the phone, sending an email, if they can't sit and be patient like this, then don't try and steady your dog. Work on the retrieving as a separate entity, and work on the sitting and remaining as another lesson, and then combine those two once they're ready. And that's the thing, we're training all these little things as individual lessons, and then we're combining 2 of them, 2 of them, 2 of them, and then 2 of those 2, and 2 of those 2, and 2 of those 2, and then eventually we bring them all together. But you can see this guy's super chilled. He's like, oh, he's talking so long, I'm going to lie down. And that's when we know we're ready to do this. If he's still like, come on, come on, come on, you know, busy, busy, then we're not ready to do this. Okay? Sit. So I throw the ball, I pretend to throw the ball a couple of times. Okay, you see, as soon as I do that, he pricks his ears up. He's looking for it. Sit. Sit. Ah, 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 ah. Good boy, come here. Come, ah, ah, ah. Come here, come here. Sit. Now, I've had him on the lead so that he can't run for it. Okay? Sit. Now, what I'll do now, because he tried to bolt for it, I'll make him sit here a little bit longer. I'll slip the lead off. I'll hold on to him. I'm not holding him, but I'm stopping him from going. Sit. Sit. I'm stroking him very calmly, very patiently. Want him to be calm, and then out. He's run straight over the top of it with his enthusiasm. But that's okay, he's going to work it out. Now you see he's running around very much hunting roughly the area. He's not taking off into the middle distance. He's not doing anything stupid. He's just not right on top of the ball. Maybe he can't see the ball and he's not getting a wind of it. And there he goes. He's got it. Good boy. Rum. Good boy. Good boy. Well done. Now he comes back with it. Lots of praise. I've got hold of him, okay? When your dog comes back to you, whether it's recall or with a ball or both, get hold of them. Now I just get him by a scruff. He's a puppy, he's got lots of loose fur there. I'm quite happy to do that. If your dog's got a collar, just get your thumb in behind the collar. So you've got hold of him, you're in control. He can't continue to run around and be silly. We've got him, we praise him, and then we take the ball off his mouth. Don't make the delivery about giving you the ball, make the delivery about coming back and getting a cuddle. The ball is secondary, okay? If you're standing there going, give me the ball, bring it to me, he's gonna be like, oh, I'll mess around. But if you're there going, no, you give that to me, you come to me for a cuddle and have the ball, then everything in his life is good. Okay, Rum, sit. So I'm just going to make it stand up again, exactly the same spot, make him sit, 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 Now, do you see the difference? The first time he's, oh, I'm straight out of the kennel, I'm ready to go. He wants to do a retrieve. I stopped him on the lead. Okay, he's done it again, but not straight away. Sit. So I'm just correcting him, pausing. Now, if this was an older dog who knew how to be steady and didn't do this, if they tried to run without permission, I would sit them down, I'd go and pick up the ball and I'd do it again. Because he's young and he's learning, I'm not gonna kind of disqualify him because he's got it wrong, because I don't want to put him off retrieving, but I want to make sure that he understands sitting there is more important. So I just make him sit there longer and longer. And then I do exactly the same thing. Out. Good boy. Good boy. He comes in. I've got him by his scruff. I'm giving him praise. He's messing around with the ball a little bit, sort of, he's not chewing it, but he's kind of mouthing it. And I don't want to encourage that. And then straight away, I loop the lead round his neck and I've got him, okay? People go wrong, they'll get the dummy off the dog and then, or the tennis ball or whatever it is, I'll go, well done, and they'll start praising the dog and go and watch my Don't Praise Your Dog video. They'll praise the dog and then the dog's off and he's messing around again. And then the next thing they're doing is, no, come back here. And all that positive has turned into a negative because the owner just hasn't got a grip of their dog quickly. Make sure you follow through right to the end. The dog comes back. You hug them, you get the tennis ball and you keep hold of them, you get the lead on them and you're still in control because you're creating a habit, okay? And the habit is the dog comes back to you, gives you the retrieve and sits there calmly and waits for the next command. Not gives you the retrieve, throws it at you and then runs off and gets something else or does something else or jumps up at the cameraman or whatever it is. You've got to make sure that you follow it through. And it's just those simple things are the difference between an okay dog and a really good dog. We're going to do one more with him. Sit. Now, I'm just going to stand in front of him. Sit. And I'm going to throw it behind me. So I'm still got him on the lead because I don't trust him to do it off the lead. Because if I do it off the lead too quickly and he runs and he gets it, then he learns he can ignore me and do what he likes. What I want to do is I want to wait until he's no longer trying on the lead. Sit. So you see he looked at the ball and then he looked back at me to say, can I go and get it? So I pause, take my time. Patience is the most important thing to learn for you and for your dog. That patience of waiting, those manners of waiting. I don't go, good boy, well done. I praise him very calmly. Out. And then I send him off. He's smelling it, just can't quite figure out where it is. So a lot of this is him learning how to use his nose. He's quartering, zigzagging back to back, and then he's got it. Well done, good boy. Well done, good boy. Well done. And then he's got it, and I slip the lead over his neck this time before I even take the ball. And again, he tries to jump up and be silly, but I've got control straight away. So we're just building. Sit. Sit. Now I'm going to go for broke here. Sit. 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 But I am like on my tiptoes ready to catch him, okay? I'm expecting him to go, so I'm ready to catch him. Sit. Out. Good boy, come on then. Come on, run. Run, come on. Hey. Come on then. Good boy. Now, he had a little moment there. He was kind of got the ball and he was looking for something else. Because maybe the ball just suddenly is starting to lose its value. We've done 4 or 5 retrieves with him and he's like, oh, I'm doing that ball again in that spot. Suddenly starting to lose its value. So that's a little sign for me to go, I should have stopped. I probably should have stopped one retrieve earlier, but I should stop. So I'm not going to do any more retrieves with him. I'm just going to talk about what he's just done and what he hasn't just done. So we've gone from a dog, when I first tried to throw the ball, he lunged on the lead, tried to get it. I stopped him, I paused, I made him be patient, I let him go and get it. Then I had a dog that made him pause, he waited, he had a little moment of lapse and he lunged and I made him wait and then he got to go and get it, each time bringing it back to me. Then I stood in front of him to block him, like a you know, the defensive position in any kind of sports game. I'm there, I'm stopping him. I threw it over my shoulder. Because I'd put my body language myself in front of him, I put a bit more pressure on him, so he was less inclined to bolt. Whereas being behind him, he had the whole free field. Oh, I can get that. But by coming in front of him, I'm just preventing that. So he then sat really nicely. So I went for broke. I took the lead off. He continued to do it. But what I just did was a sort of very fast-forwarded version of how to steady a dog, okay? And I can get away with it because I can read the dog's body language maybe a little bit better than some people. And if you can do the same, then that's great. You will be able to fast forward it. But if you're just learning and you're new to this, that lesson probably wants to happen over the course of a few weeks. Okay, so first off, just start with the dog with the loose lead, wait till you can sit him, throw it, and he doesn't flinch at all. The next stage from that is standing in front of him, do one retrieve, make sure the lead's still loose, then take the lead off and try it off the lead. Now we're not going to push him any further. We're going to do that in maybe in another video. But hopefully gives you a little indication of how we start to steady a young dog that's already had a good level of obedience training. He's already sitting nicely. He's already walking to heel. He understands that pressure on the lead is not acceptable. So when he did lunge on the lead, he didn't continue to lunge on the lead. I got him back quite quickly and he was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, should I? And I said, no, you shouldn't have done that. But I didn't give him a bollocking because he's young, he's a baby. I don't want to tell him off for wanting to be keen to retrieve. I've just got to get the right amount of pressure, the right amount of balance, and he's still keen to retrieve, but he also knows he's not allowed to go just when he wants to go. If you put too much pressure on them, they'll shut down and they'll not be that keen on retrieving, or they'll go out half-heartedly and they won't be keen to bring it back so well. If you don't put enough pressure on them, you're not going to make any progression. And remember, all you've got to do to progress with a dog is be better this week than you were last week, better this month than you were last month. Better today than you were yesterday. That's all you're looking for. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple way of measuring it. And you have bad days, you'll have little blips, but as long as you're picking up again, little blip, picking up again, that's all you're looking to do, is just continually, on average, being better than you were previously. Then don't worry about how much time it takes. Now this guy, as I say, is about 7 months old and we're starting to steady him. Is that too early? Is that too late? It's definitely not too late. I see people who are trying to do this with a dog at 4 months old, and you take the zing out of it. Trying to teach a kid a game of sport, some sort of sport, and if you put in too many rules too early when they're just having fun, batting a tennis ball around, you go, oh, you're outside the court, you can't take that shot, and make up all sorts of boring rules, and you become a bit Norman no mates. You know, you've got to be interesting, you've got to make it fun. It doesn't matter they hit it out the court. It's about engaging them and having fun, and then slowly you bring in more rules. Dogs are exactly the same. Some kids are really keen, really capable, and you can bring in rules quicker. Some dogs are the same. Some dogs aren't that keen in the first place, so you've got to build the enthusiasm before you put in too many rules. If you see your dog being sticky and they're really steady, but they're really sticky, it's because you've done too much too early or being a pushy parent. If you've got a complete hooligan who won't behave at all, you haven't done enough. It's pretty obvious. It doesn't take a dog trainer or rocket scientist to work that out, and I'm definitely a dog trainer and not a rocket scientist to work that out, but it's very much just logical, okay? So we've done a nice little lesson with this guy. He's done well. Had a little moment at the end where he was picking up the ball and messing around a bit, but just a bit of body language, a bit of, don't do that, and then encouraging him back. All it took, but I stopped, and I should have probably stopped one retrieve earlier. But I'm trying to give you guys a hand and let you learn something. So I hope you've all learned something. You get out what you put in, be energetic, be enthusiastic, have fun. The dog will be energetic, enthusiastic, but not all the time. They need to be calm and they need to be sensible as well. And we'll see you all next time.